evening and welcome to the NewsHour Agenda. Madhavdas G. In a sensational move, Tamil Nadu Governor Ravi has dismissed Minister Senthil Balaji from the Council of Ministers. Currently, he is in judicial custody in a criminal case being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. In an official release, Raj Bhavan has said that Senthil Balaji is facing serious criminal proceedings in a number of cases and abusing his position as a minister. He's been influencing the investigation and obstructing the due process of law and justice. Expressing apprehensions that continuation of Senthil Balaji in the Council of Ministers will adversely impact the due process of law that may eventually lead to the breakdown of constitutional machinery in the state. The governor has thus justified the decision. The DMK, however, whose government has refused to remove the minister from the cabinet, having only redistributed his portfolio, has called this a constitutional overreach. The recent development in Tamil Nadu comes just days after the Madras High Court refused to axe Senthil Balaji from the ministerial berth and pass orders under Article 226. The High Court also observed that there was no specific order from the TN governor at the time. The removal of Senthil from the cabinet has raked up a massive political storm, with DMK branding this move as unconstitutional. Chief Minister Stalin claimed that the governor does not have the right to sack the minister and has vowed a legal battle. The DMK has even alleged that the Tamil Nadu governor is undermining the constitution.
அவருக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் கிடையாது. சட்ட ரீதியாக நாங்கள் சந்திப்போம். அவருக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் கிடையாது. சட்ட ரீதியாக நாங்கள் சந்திப்போம்.
The governor has abused his power, his constitutional power, beyond the limit that has been extended to him in the constitution. This is really outrageous, and governor is trying to behave like a Tamil Nadu state BJP president, where he wants to act as per the will of the BJP, not as per how the constitution wants him to behave. So we're not here to please the governor. We have democratically fought the election and we've been elected by the people. We are doing our day-to-day affairs. See, how can a person who's in judicial constituency influence and try to change the nature of the investigation?
And what have the courts opined so far on this particular matter in terms of the powers of the governor? In 2016, the Supreme Court order in the Nabam Rebia landmark case versus, of course, the Deputy Speaker said that the B.R. Ambedkar has said that governor has no function which he can discharge by himself. While he has no functions, he has certain duties to perform. In the 2016 Allahabad High Court Ashok Pandey versus Azam Khan case, the court has said that it is difficult to accept that the letter sent by governor to speaker be treated to be a decisive basis. Can't take action against the continuance of a minister on that ground alone. Governors to act with the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. In 1974, the Supreme Court had ordered in the Shamsher Singh versus the State of Punjab case that we hold that the President and the Governor acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, not required by the Constitution to act personally without or against the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
We have with us our guest joining us on the panel, Shahzad Poonawala's national spokesperson of the BJP. Also with us is Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst. We have with us Jagdishwaran, political analyst, also joining us. We have Kamruzaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress party, also with us. But I first and foremost want to go across to PDT Achari, constitutional expert, and of course the former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. Mr. Achari, thank you so much for joining us. In your long and distinguished career, sir, in parliamentary service and as a constitutional expert, do you recall any case where either the President or the Governor has dismissed a minister such as this, where there is no such advice that has been given by the Chief Minister? Is this a new precedent in your view, or is there a similar precedent in the past as well?
No, there has been no precedent in the past, and it appears to be a new precedent where the governor has dismissed a minister without the recommendation of the Chief Minister. And in my view, the governor cannot act like that independently. Under Article 164 of the Constitution, a minister is appointed by the governor only on the recommendation of the Chief Minister. It means the governor cannot pick up somebody and make him a minister without the recommendation or without the advice being given by the Chief Minister. Similarly, a governor cannot be removed by the governor at will without the recommendation of the Chief Minister. Actually, it is the discretion of the Chief Minister as to who should be the minister, who should be a minister in his council of ministers and who should not be. If the Chief Minister thinks that a minister should not be there, then he can advise the governor to remove him. The governor cannot act independently, and this is, so far as the governor's powers are concerned, the governor cannot act independently. So that is the point which has been decided by the Supreme Court, right from Shambles Singh's case, right up to Nabam Rabia. So Supreme Court has consistently held that the governor is a constitutional head, and he cannot exercise the executive power without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Well, it is true that the governor has been given certain discretionary powers, but those powers have been defined in the Constitution.
Right.
And therefore, but this is not one of such power.
Right. So I was actually going to come to that, because in a lot of places in the Constitution itself, as you very well know, the doctrine of the pleasure of the governor has been invoked. My question, or next question, is actually that to what extent do these discretionary powers actually devolve from the Constitution to the governor, and is this one such case?
No, this is not one such case. That is what I was saying. This is not one such case. There are certain areas where the governor can exercise this discretion, and those areas have been spelled out by the Constitution, but this is not one. Here, you know, the problem is the discretion vests with the Chief Minister. He will decide who should be a minister in his cabinet and who should not be. But that discretion of the Chief Minister has not been transferred to the governor under any article of the Constitution.
Right. Now, the DMK sir has said that they will pursue the legal options. What exactly do you see them doing, legally speaking, in terms of how they would argue this particular matter before the High Court or perhaps before the Supreme Court even?
Well, as I look at it, you know, the Article 164 needs to be interpreted by the court, especially on the words like the minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. Now, perhaps the governor of Tamil Nadu has taken recourse to this, and he has built up a case on the basis of that the governor has can dismiss a minister if he loses his pleasure. But a governor can withdraw his pleasure only on the recommendation of the chief minister. Only when the Chief Minister recommends, the governor will withdraw the pleasure. That is what it means. But otherwise, you know, what happens is that it will set a very dangerous precedent.
Right.
A governor can dismiss ministers at will. No, that will destabilize the whole system, and that is not the system which our Constitution has established.
So, a 1968 judgment of the Supreme Court in Mahabir Prasad Sharma versus Prafulla Chandra Ghosh has observed that there is no such limitation or condition to the pleasure of the governor prescribed by Article 164(1), and it must therefore be held that the right of the governor to withdraw the pleasure during which ministers hold office is absolute and unrestricted. How do you see this particular judgment? Does it still hold?
Well, see, after that, so many decisions were taken by the Supreme Court. The constitutional benches of the Supreme Court have commented on, pronounced the judgments on various issues relating to the powers of the governor. So all aspects of the powers of the governor, the functions and the duties of the governor have been spelled out. You were referring to Dr. Ambedkar's comment or response on the powers of the governor. I mean, he performs no function independently. So all the constitutional experts are of this view. The Supreme Court of this view. The constitution benches have declared this law at different times, which has brought about necessary clarity into this issue.
All right.
Okay.
Dr. Mr. P.T. Acharya, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your perspective and your long years of experience, decades as a constitutional expert. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Let's get into the debate now on this issue. A. Saravanan, spokesperson of the DMK, is joining us. But let me first and foremost go across to Shehzad Poonawala, because Shehzad Poonawala, the DMK is saying that this act is unconstitutional. They will, of course, follow up with legal action. But they are saying that this is unprecedented. And you heard the constitutional expert just a few minutes ago also saying that this has simply never happened.
No, it is also unprecedented when the Supreme Court makes categorical observations about a minister. The entire cabinet comes and defends the minister. And the minister concerned does not subject himself to the investigation, but uses an excuse of some sort to evade investigation, and in a sense puts the functioning of the constitutional mechanism in the state at peril and tries to undermine the legal processes against him. So that is also unprecedented. Having said that, Madhav, let me not be as eloquent as Saravanan in commentating on constitutional actions that have been taken. But let me come to 2 points. There is a factum of the circumstances and an outcome of the circumstances. The factum of the circumstances are uncontrovertible, non-controversial, and let me explain what. There is a Supreme Court order which says that what has been compromised is not between two parties, but a compromise of justice, conscience and criminal jurisprudence. Can we deny this? No. There is uncontrovertible fact that the entire investigation was being handicapped by the government because they wanted the entire scam to be suppressed. Is it uncontrovertible that Mr. Stalin himself raised this? Now there is an outcome of the circumstances. And what is this outcome triggered by? The High Court order, and let me tell you, the High Court order of just few days ago says, where there is no governor order that has set aside the appointment of that person as a minister, he was appointed as a minister by the governor. So the aspect is satisfying. Where do the powers of the governor to remove a minister are with us? Where do we have this? The governor did not agree to keep him as a minister without portfolio, but he did not pass an order dismissing him as a minister. In a sense, the outcome of the circumstances, what triggered it, could very well be this High Court order where the High Court is in a sense directing the governor.
Let
me just make a larger point. The larger point is, let's not get into issues of which are controvertible, or there can be two views on this. Let the court decide this. What there is no two views on about is that Mr. Senthil Balaji is a corrupt person and he does not deserve to be a minister.
Be that as it may, let me bring in. We will come to each point one by one. I want to first come to the High Court point that you have made, and I want Saravanan to come in on this. Saravanan, you heard Shehzad Poonawala. He says that it is perhaps an outcome of what the High Court did that this action of the governor has been followed upon. I want you to respond to Shehzad on that point first.
Yes, Mr. Shehzad Poonawala was waxing eloquence about how Mr. Senthil Balaji was tainted and all that. We all know what happened to Brijbhushan Singh. The BJP government did not even remove him from Wrestling Federation. What was the charge? A serious, heinous charge of molesting, sexually assaulting the golden girls of India. What did the BJP do? A golden silence. And now they come and preaches about a Supreme Court order. This must be the height of hypocrisy. The next question is, it is very clear that the governor does not have the power to dismiss any constitutional functionary, that is a minister. If this logic is accepted, Madhav, tomorrow, if the president is going to dismiss Mr. Amit Shah, you are not able to maintain law and order in Manipur, I will dismiss you. Will the BJP gleefully accept that? Oh, this is the situation, you see, this is what has happened. Will the BJP say that? Will the BJP take that stand? Because both the president and the governor are akin. In fact, the president stands at a higher footing because he has been elected by the people of this country, albeit indirectly, that apart. The Supreme Court of this country, a constitutional bench judgment in Narul's case, it has clearly stated, we leave it to the wisdom of the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister to choose their respective colleagues as ministers. The Supreme Court, that's what, let me say, I don't want to, we cannot put any embargo. Maybe they are charged with heinous offences, maybe they are charged with minor offences. We cannot put an embargo, that is not our domain. When the Supreme Court, 5 judges of the Supreme Court says, we don't have the power to say that, will this governor, a clown of a governor, has the power to do that? That order does not even have the value of the paper in which it is written.
Okay, okay. But Shehzad Punawala, the allegation here is hypocrisy. You are claiming that, there was an exigent circumstance because of the charges that Mr. Balaji is facing, not a conviction, but charges undergoing investigation. You didn't apply the same yardstick to your own MP, Brajbhushan Sharan Singh, when he was accused of sexual misconduct.
I can't believe that Mr. Sarvanan, an erudite lawyer, would bring this up on Channel of Times now or any other place. You and your channel, Madhav, have been particularly the only channel to cover the Chinmayi Sripada issue. There not even FIR has been filed. At least there the court took cognizance, the FIR was filed and the entire matter went to court, and then the court said that the Delhi police is doing its job. Madhav, you cover Delhi, you cover these issues, and I don't think I can befool a senior journalist like you with my facts. Madhav, but on Chinmayi Sripada, 17 people have made charges against Vairamuthu.
Okay.
Is there a standing FIR? Now
okay.
Let's come to one by one. I'll just take 20 seconds. See, one thing I'm very happy my friend Sarvanan has agreed, that in the wisdom of the Chief Minister, and the wisdom of the Chief Minister was then when he was leader of opposition, he had accused Senthil Balaji.
Right.
Today he wants to protect him. So it is clear where the protection and patronage to a corrupt person is coming from. Now I am saying, Sarvanan, nor me or you can decide on powers of A, B, C constitutional authority, but are you denying the fact that the High Court order I have read out exists? Are you denying the fact that there are corruption charges? Are you denying the fact that your Chief Minister is protecting a corrupt person? Are you denying the fact that the corruption is so large that you are now trying to undermine the investigating agencies, thereby obstructing the law, obstructing rule of law and obstructing the constitution?
No, but this
so
is
that he's agreeing to. He's agreeing to all this. No,
but
what is to be agreed to by the court will be agreed by the
I'm not getting into the High Court order, but the court, the action of the governor is certainly unprecedented. But I'm going to let Sarvanan give you another chance, Sarvanan, to respond to that. Yes. Because he's saying that High Court, and you've not responded to this particular point, where he says that the High Court order has left this grey area, which the governor's order has now filled. How do you respond to that specific point he's making?
No. The governor, no High Court order, no Supreme Court order, no constitutional mandate for the governor to dismiss any minister. That is what I'm saying. If this discretion argument is accepted, tomorrow the governor will dismiss the Chief Justice.
Okay.
The governor will dismiss the judge. The governor, what he will do is he will tomorrow dismiss the DGP. He says it's my discretion. I have given an order. What a joke is this?
Let me
This is a joke, a constitutional joke.
No, but this is overreach is what you're saying. So the point is, whether there is court orders or not, the governor cannot do this kind of overreach in a democratic system. Otherwise, there's no meaning of a government being elected. And in fact, just one point I'm going to raise is 2016. One second, Mr. Sarvan, I'm coming in. I'm going to bring in others also. In 2016, the Allahabad High Court has specifically said that the governor is to act with the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, can't take action against the continuance of a minister on that ground alone. Madhav, this is there in black and white.
Let me just come on one statement and then you can move on. I am saying that whatever the action of the governor is, you may have two views on it. One says that the High Court has predicated it. One may say that no, the other High Courts or the other courts have said that aid and advice is required. I am saying the basis on which the governor has acted is that controvertible. Let's discuss the basis. The basis is that Mr. Balaji is a corrupt man being defended and he's interfering with the process of law and investigation.
Let me bring in others.
Let's discuss this because there is no kind of controversy on this. That even Sarvanan is agreeing. He's not saying Senthil Balaji is not corrupt. No,
but he's saying that in 20 minutes
of the debate, he has not once said Senthil Balaji is not corrupt.
No, but
so I congratulate Sarvanan.
One second. I don't think we're getting into that aspect as well. You can argue that. There is no two ways about it. But my simple point is we are discussing the action of the governor, and this is certainly something that is going to be challenged tomorrow. So and the DMK said as much. So I want to bring in Kamru Zaman Chaudhary. I'm coming to you as well, Sumansi Ravan. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, do you see this as an overreach? Because here we have Shehzad Punawala saying that you have a court order which empowers the governor, or at least leaves a grey area, which the governor has now filled. Please unmute yourself and speak, sir.
Yeah, I was telling Shehzad is telling lies blatantly on the national television. That's not the fact. If you want to discuss the specifics of the case regarding Senthil Balaji, we have already discussed, debated lot number of times the charges against Senthil Balaji. But that's not the point here. Point is whether the governor of Tamil Nadu has acted in accordance with the direction received from the Bharatiya Janata Party in Delhi. That's the moot question. Because you know one thing, Madhav, gone are the days when the governor of a state was considered as the Bhishma Pitama of that state, wherein both the sides respected the post of the governor, the office of governor was held in high reverence, and the governor acted impartially. We have seen number of cases. You cited the High Court orders, the 2016 judgments, but you forgot to mention the 2023 judgment or the observation of the Honorable Supreme Court in the Governor Koshyari case in the Shiv Sena matter.
Yes.
What were the observations that the Supreme Court made? If at all Shehzad Poonawala's party had little bit of shame, then the entire Shinde government should have resigned there and there.
Okay.
But they held on to the dear power.
Okay.
Now this office of the governor has been made into another extended department of the Bharatiya Janata Party. That is amply clear. We have got how Koshyari acted, how the governor of Manipur acted, how the governor of West Bengal acted when...
Let me bring in Suman now. I'm coming to each other. Let me bring in Suman now. Suman, the question is this, and a simple question. Now, I'm not getting into the legality of the governor's decision for just a minute. If we just step back, the larger question is also about probity. There was a time when the minute a scam is broken, a minister would step down. There have been accidents when ministers have stepped down. Come to, what's happening in today's day and age, where in Delhi you've had a minister, Mr. Satyendra Jain, who continued in 9 months. Despite his arrest, despite him being behind bars, and he continued as a minister. It's only when the deputy chief minister was also arrested that he then stepped down as a minister. So is this now going to be the new normal?
Look, Madhav, first of all, there are 3 issues with the governor's decision. One, to say that a man who is already in judicial custody can interfere with the witnesses or can tamper with the witnesses or destroy evidence is absurd. By that token, so can every person who is arrested. The whole purpose of arrest is to ensure that they don't tamper with the evidence or don't influence witnesses. How on earth can the governor come to the conclusion that merely by continuing as a minister without portfolio, while he is in judicial custody and later on he is to be in ED custody, how will he interfere or tamper with the evidence? This is bizarre. Second, very importantly, now the issue is not whether Mr. Senthil Balaji is corrupt or innocent. That is for the court of law to establish. Tomorrow it is very much possible that he may be convicted. And then this question of governor having to dismiss him will not come, because the constitutional provisions will kick in if he is convicted for a period beyond 2 years. But the law, at least until I last remembered, used to say a man is innocent until proven guilty, and that applies for Senthil Balaji too. I am no fan of Senthil Balaji. I personally strongly believe that he is corrupt. But that's not the point. The point is for the court to pronounce a judgment saying that he is corrupt. Until then, there is no way that the governor can, even after he is convicted by the court of law, it is there for the constitutional provisions to debar him from holding office, not a kind of order from the governor. And I think that this is frankly an extremely dangerous precedent, for the simple reason that it can render the democratic process irrelevant. It can render state assembly elections irrelevant if the governor can decide who should be a minister. If a governor can dismiss a minister, he can appoint a minister. What prevents a governor from choosing 4 people and telling the chief minister, you know what, I have appointed them ministers from today? This is bizarre. Hopefully the courts will strike it down, and hopefully the DMK will follow it through to its logical conclusion.
Let me bring in Shehzad on that. Shehzad, this is a very dangerous precedent for our democracy. If an elected government will see this kind of overreach by a governor, is the sum and substance of Suman C. Raman's arguments. Please respond to that very specific question.
I am the national spokesperson of the BJP. The governor is an independent institution. The governor's office will speak for itself. But having said that, I am saying something else. I am saying that who are we to apply our minds one way or the other on the powers of the governor, which you or maybe I may be right upon. But what is the circumstances in which he's been forced to act? By the way, Mr. Suman C. Raman, isn't this Mr. Balaji recuperating in private hospital till now? Or is he in judicial custody actually?
He's technically supposed to be in judicial
custody. But where is he right now?
He is recovering.
Why did Mr. Suman C. Raman raise that fact? Now can he not manipulate the processes of law and the investigation? How conveniently, you saw how he cherry-picked the facts? Now, Mr. Raman,
there is a health issue also over here. There is a health issue also here.
Well, we all know the health issue developed. The health issue, how it developed. I am only saying that right now, 1 second, Mr. Raman, I did not interrupt you. We can have a conversation one at a time. Madhav is very fair with the allocation. We can speak one at a time. We can speak one at a time.
You can respond to him. All right, you can respond to him. Let him finish his point. Yes, make your point.
Madhav, all I'm saying is that the governor in his wisdom based on a High Court direction, has taken a particular decision.
Okay.
The basis on which the decision has been taken is not being controverted. In fact, now I thank Mr. Raman and Mr. Saravanan. Both have said that this man is a corrupt man. Yet we have to protect him.
No,
Why?
Dr. Raman has said it, not Saravanan.
Because the corruption is from DMK.
Yeah,
is
okay.
that the case?
Okay.
You say about the corruption today.
Sumansi Raman.
No, Madhav.
Should the CM sack him or no?
This is not about, again, we are missing the wood for the trees.
No.
The chief minister should have sacked him on probity.
That's
a different issue. The governor has got no authority to do this. The point we are trying to make, 1 minute.
No, why hasn't he been sacked? Let's ask that question. This would have never come to the past.
Even so, the governors can't start sacking ministers. Can you imagine?
I am not commenting on that. I am saying why has the chief minister not sacked him?
Okay. Yeah.
Madhav, 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute, Madhav.
Dr. Raman, floor is yours. Go ahead.
The man is in hospital recuperating from a bypass surgery and he continues to be in custody. Now, the point is, maybe Shehzad is accusing the medical team, who I actually know quite well and who are very good doctors, of maybe faking a surgery. What are you trying to say?
No, I am accusing the chief minister of protecting a corrupt man, which you are admitting.
But that's not possible unless the doctor is also in on it, Shehzad. So you're saying, are you questioning the integrity of the doctors?
I have not questioned Mr. Senthil Balaji's health. One second, I can answer for myself.
Answer, clarify that.
Let me clarify. One second, Mr. Raman, wait until you ask me a question. I have not said one thing or the other on anybody's health condition. I am just saying this, Madhav, that the chief minister should have done away with this corrupt man long back. He himself admitted he's corrupt when he was leader of opposition. Why is he protecting him today? Had he sacked this corrupt man, which even Sumansi Raman is admitting, there would have been no situation
that can
today
be questioned. That can be questioned, but can the governor's action be defended? And there is another question. There is another question, and this is something that experts have also raised. Normally, when a governor acts, I'm seeing many hands going up. We're going to come to all of you gentlemen, but I want to ask this one question of Shehzad. Normally, when a governor's order on a very sensitive matter comes, the powers vested in the governor and the article of the constitution through which that power flows is mentioned. In this particular note, there is no article mentioned. And that is very, very curious, isn't it?
Let me tell you, Madhav, because you also had Mr. Acharya on this, there is two kinds of discretion that governor enjoys, a constitutional discretion and a situational discretion. For instance, when the chief minister has to be called for taking the oath, or the chief minister has to be appointed, he is basing it on the situation of the numbers, and then he invites the person to take the chief minister's oath.
There's no discretion there.
So 1 second.
The single largest has to be called.
It is a situational discretion that is concocted up because of the numbers. So my point is that this is a situational discretion. He has admitted or he has exercised. You have to ask the governor for that. I am saying that the governor's circumstances on which he has acted, that we must discuss on. Saravanan, Sumansi Raman and Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary all are accepting without exception that Senthil Balaji should have been sacked long back.
Mr. Saravanan, before I come across to you, I want Mr. Jagadishwaran to comment on this. Mr. Jagadishwaran, is there any situational discretion here for the governor? Is there any wriggling room? I'm coming to you, Saravanan. Just 1 second, coming to you. Let him just come in because he's not yet spoken. Yeah.
I see this is a direct challenge the government is putting on.
I'm coming to you, sir. Be little patient. There are a lot of panelists. I'm coming to you. Yes.
I know, but see, I see this as a direct challenge. The governor is directly challenging the constitution as well as the Indian democracy. See, today we see Manipur is burning. Can President Murmu tomorrow dismiss Amit Shah for this? Can she take the law in her own hands and say, since Manipur is burning for 50 days and nobody is taking care of it, can she go ahead and dismiss Amit Shah directly? This will not happen, right? Because that is not in the law. Similarly, this is something that is not in the constitution, that is not in the law. Governor is, there is already 2 bills filed in Madras High Court, and this is happening. And the court correctly asked, we know the Constitution 164 has got the provision to appoint a minister given by the Council of Ministers. But does it have any provision to dismiss a minister? And the petitioner, they said no. There is just a press release. They don't have an answer. They just have a press release.
Okay.
Because there is no provision of the Constitution, be it 164, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever it is. Since there is no provision of the Constitution that says governor can actually dismiss a minister, they don't have any other cause. They're just giving press releases saying, I'm going to dismiss you. Who gives you that right? I mean, this is not about Senthil Balaji being corrupt or not. Senthil Balaji is corrupt or innocent, that will be decided in the court of law. There is no question on that. He might be a corrupt person. But he is putting a dangerous precedent because this will happen to anybody tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow he can say, I will appoint 4 ministers. I will dismiss the chief minister.
Yeah.
Tomorrow the Delhi LG might say, I don't want Manish Sisodia to continue as a minister. I will dismiss him tomorrow. What sort of...
Okay, Sarwan first. One second. Let Sarwan come in. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. Yes. But let Sarwan come in. He also has a legal point to make. Sarwan, you can respond to both of them together. Yeah. Sarwan first.
That's what. Here, the BJP spokesperson is talking about situational discretion and constitutional discretion. That is total crap. There is no.
Let's mind our language, please. Let's keep it parliamentary. Let's keep our language parliamentary and let's not get personal.
Okay.
Let's keep it parliamentary. Since we're discussing the constitution, it's I guess it behoves all of us.
I understand his frustration.
Probably,
let him make his point.
Probably, this is what they wanted to have. This is the constitutional provision. Probably the RSS wanted to have. Golwalkar and Hedgewar wanted to have. But we are having a constitution from 1950.
On what basis are you saying that, sir?
No, I'm saying that. You're talking about situational
No. Is there any
discretion.
basis of fact on the basis of which you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's a matter of.
It's a rhetorical argument. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, in 1950, the Constitution, there is no such provision for the governor to act in any way. He is a puppet. He is a rubber stamp. He is the yes man for the cabinet ministers. There is no discretion whatsoever. There is a discretion under 356 when you can dismiss the government, under 239 for the union territories, or in the 6th schedule under the Assam or any other troubled area. There they have discretion, the governor. Constitution provided by provisions of this constitution.
But Mr. Sarwan, I'm coming to one. Mr. Sarwan, I have one question though. My simple question is that you've been quoted, in some media reports as saying that, it is his belief in Sanatan Dharma that is the reason for the governor's decision. You can question you can question the fact that there is no constitutional provision, but to question his religious or ideological belief, that's a little bit of a stretch, isn't it, Mr. Sarvanan?
No, see, that is the argument he's making. Probably we thought, because he is not acting as per the constitution, probably that is the allusion. That is just a political comment. What did you want to give?
It's just a political comment, but it's without basis.
because the governor was making political statements.
Okay, he's making political statements. Yeah. Okay. No, Suman Siraman wants to counter him. I'm coming to you. Suman Siraman, yeah.
This is unfair.
Coming to you.
Yeah, one point, Madhav. Madhav, you'll recall in October last year. One second. Last year in October, Madhav, you will recall that Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan in Kerala withdrew his pleasure on the State Finance Minister K.N. Balagopal, and he actually asked Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan to do what was necessary, quote unquote, which basically meant to sack him. But he did not say that he was sacking him. He only said, I am withdrawing my pleasure for his continuance in the ministry. And Chief Minister ignored and said that I am sorry that he will continue. There is no issue at all. So Mr. Balagopal continued. So I think that this is the closest precedent that I can think of. But even there, he did not, Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan did not explicitly sack the minister. He did not explicitly say...
Okay, so there is a precedent. There is a precedent of governors doing a similar thing. But in Kerala, perhaps the governor did not go to this extent, Shahzad Poonawala. Number of questions that have been raised by the other panelists. Your response.
More than the language used by Sarvanan against me, I think the language he used against the governor being a puppet of the cabinet, I think it is most unwholesome, and that is not the constitutional scheme of things, first of all. Secondly, let's assume for an argument's sake that they say that there is no inherent power of the governor in the constitution to do this. So therefore, ipso facto, this has no effect. Then why are you so bothered? Don't be bothered. It has no effect. One second. Third point. This is the historic debate, Madhav. You record this debate, archive it. That 5 panelists, 4 versus 1, all 5 are saying Senthil Balaji is corrupt. No dispute on that, Madhav. Not even Sarvanan has contested that Senthil Balaji is corrupt. And therefore, I ask now, by putting integrity at the pedestal, Mr. Suman C. Raman, should this man not have been sacked for the continuation of a clean government in accordance with the constitution? I ask the political analyst that why is it that Mr. Stalin was defending this man, misusing the constitution, and I asked Sarvananji, now you take the step. Let's assume that the governor has no power. When are you taking the step? What are you waiting for?
You can ask the question.
I'm asking Sarvananji, when are you taking the step now? You must sack him.
Sarvanan.
I didn't get the question. Come again.
Repeat your question for him.
Sarvananji, According to you, there's no power of the governor to do this.
You're
Let's
not
assume
audible.
for a moment you're right. So no effect on this. But you have admitted Senthil is corrupt. When are you sacking Senthil Balaji?
You're not audible, boss. You're not audible.
Of course I'm
Can
not
you
audible
repeat what
on
he
this
has said?
question. Of course. The selective hearing and the defective thinking
Madhav,
is
can
right
you-
there
can
for
you
everyone.
Let Mr. Jagdishwaran come in on this. Mr. Jagdishwaran, if you heard the question, respond to Shahzad Purwala.
See, there are allegations on so many ministers. There are allegations on so many BJP ministers, non-BJP ruled states. And if you want every
what about
sack, fine, please start from your own home. Please start from your own home. Please start from Himant Biswa. You said he is a corrupt minister from a North
Against any of our ministers like this.
You wrote a book.
Sir, you are a
wrote book
political
saying
analyst. I think you don't wear a political
Congress
cap. You are
ministers.
analyst.
What
So
happened
you
to
show me
Louis
one same
What happened
order
to
of
Louis
this
Berger case?
nature
Why is
against
there a
any
charge sheet
sitting
on
minister.
people
Or
from
else
Goa
I will
not
tell
to
you
Himant Biswa?
that Mr.
Why
Hemanta
don't you-
Biswa
why don't
Sarma
you
is
throw
very
that man?
competent at
Why don't
taking
you
the
throw
defamation
Himant Biswa
cases
first
up.
of all?
So he's very competent at that. If you have a court order against Mr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, speak.
Okay, let me come in now because, gentlemen, I just want to introduce a second aspect of this debate because ahead of the 2024 polls, there are various flashpoints and bones of contention between opposition parties that are pushing it to put up a united front. But the cracks among them are evident. While Congress has still not made its stand clear on the services ordinance, AAP is still not in sync with other parties on UCC, and several parties have missed the opposition meeting on the Hindenburg report on Adani. In the latest, Congress and Trinamool have locked horns over the political violence in the state ahead of Panchayat polls. Let's introduce our two guests joining us. We have with us Ravi, political analyst. Also with us is Parimal Kumar, spokesperson of the JDU. And let me ask a question. And the reason we are having this debate in continuance with the previous one is that while those cracks and fissures are very much there, we all know how they are out there in the public domain. They've been much reported as well. But do incidents like this provide opposition a glue to come together? Will that actually happen? Will it not happen? Interestingly, some of the opposition parties we invited were actually not willing to participate in this debate. So perhaps those questions are still there. Nevertheless, let me begin with Ravi Srivastava. And Ravi Srivastava, question to you is simple. AAP and the Congress are not on the same page on the issue of the ordinance, on several other issues. The larger question is, incidents like what has happened with Senthil Balaji, does it have the potential of bringing everyone together?
Madhav, first of all, Congress has at no point of time made their stand clear that whether they are going to support the particular ordinance which took away the Delhi government powers in the Rajya Sabha when the polling or when the counting takes place. So they have yet to make up their mind. But another thing which I would like to tell you is that the incident like Senthil Balaji are definitely going to strengthen the opposition unity, because this is what exactly they have been harping about. You have heard Arvind Kejriwal that this is that taking away Delhi government powers is not a MICE alone issue. It's not an isolated issue. It is going to happen to any one of you.
Okay.
It can happen any time on this.
If
So
they'll
this
come
is what
together,
exactly has happened.
We'll come
This is
together,
what
but the
exactly
cracks
has
exist. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, we will come together. We are coming closer together, but those differences still exist because of the Congress party. Please respond to Ravi Srivastava.
No, it's very, very premature to say that 2024 there will be a grand alliance on the seat adjustment issue at least. But of course, we are very much on the same page on issue-based support to each other. Nationally, we might have alliances with RJD, with JDU. Maybe there is a possibility with Samajwadi Party also. Wherever the Bharatiya Janata Party is vulnerable, we will try to sort out our differences and form an alliance. That's point number one. Point number two, there are certain very generic issues that need to be sorted out. Like you see today, the support for UCC by Aam Aadmi Party, even before the Bharatiya Janata Party could release its...
So another crack. It's not just the ordinance on services, it's also UCC.
Let me finish, please. Don't be judgmental at least, please, tonight. Now, the point is that we have got differences with Aam Aadmi Party. They have abused our leaders. That needs to be sorted out. We are yet to hear an apology from them. We are against the BRS because there is an inherent difference between them and Congress Party.
Okay.
We have got differences with many other regional parties.
Okay.
But then the main goal of all the opposition unity will be on the issue of defeating BJP as maximum number of seats is still possible. It may not be possible that we will get it together a coalition at 543 seats, but at least 400
But Mr.
seats.
Chaudhary, what will you do in Bengal? Because just now Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has called, Mamata Banerjee's entire injury as something that is completely faked. So how will you work with the TMC if this is a position that a senior leader, the leader of the Lok Sabha for the Congress party no less, is actually taking?
No. Bengal politics, I said there will be issue-based support, not necessarily seat-based adjustment. Madhav, you must understand.
So there won't be a seat agreement. There won't be seat sharing agreement.
Listen, I'm not the member of the CWC out here, neither is anybody out here a decision-making authority in this panel, I suppose. But then, of course, in Bengal, there will be issue-based support for the Congress party that we need to sort out our differences. Okay. It's not that we'll be having a seat adjustment with the TFC.
Okay.
We are already having a grand alliance.
The differences may be there, but they all say they're coming together, large part of them at least. So is that bad news for the BJP then?
First of all, Madhav, if the issues were so strong, then they wouldn't need to come together in the first place. They would have fought on the issues and defeated us individually. So who is in trouble is evident. Secondly, Madhav, you are not this naive. Was this ever about issues? Please, Madhav, I don't interrupt anybody. This is not the way I debate. You give me a time, let me speak, then the others can.
Go ahead.
Madhav, was this ever about issues? This was always about parivar bachao, bhrashtachar bachao, tushtikarna bachao. I'll give you one example. They're saying it's about issues, right? Manish Sisodia corrupt hai ki nahi, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary and Mr. Ravi Srivastav? Take one common stand on it. अच्छा छोड़िए वो छोड़िए. Mundu Modi किसको बोला है? Who has Congress called Mundu Modi? They have called Pinarayi Vijayan Mundu Modi because he has got the Kerala crime branch to take action against Sudhakaran. We have done vendetta there. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has called Nautanki Bas to Mamata Banerjee. What is our role in that? ये एक हो रहे हैं. They are cut bandhan. You know what is cut bandhan? Cut को बचाने के लिए बंधन. Okay. Cut commission का बंधन.
Okay. Number of points you made over there. I'm going to come one by one, but I first want to go across to Parimal Kumar, spokesperson of the JDU. ये परिवार को बचाने का एक तरह से प्लान है, ये कट बंधन है, ये एलिगेशन है बीजेपी स्पोक्सपर्सन का परिमल कुमार. How do you respond to him? Because today Amit Shah, also speaking in Bihar, referred to how the support of corrupt was being taken by Nitish Kumar in a bid to hit out at him. How do you respond to this, Parimal Kumar?
You see, the actual position is BJP has no faith in the constitution of India. They're trying to destroy the basic feature, and it has no belief in the democratic value of the country, in the secularism. You see, BJP felt, the central government felt that every front, with the issues foreign policy, economic policy. You see, what is the condition of farmer in India? What is the condition of unemployment in India? They made the commitment that they will provide employment, 2,000 crore employment every year. So in this way, particularly, at least they should provide 18 crore employment to the youth of India. But actually, you should know, I'm saying all this through your channel, that during this period, only 7 lakh employment was provided to BJP. So since BJP felt that every front, and now it is trying to clear the confusion. Actually, you see, whatever will be, you know that diversity is the characteristic of the country, and hence the local issue will be different. But actually, our main concern by our level is that Nitish Kumar started uniting the opposition parties because the constitution is under threat. Okay, and BJP is trying to destroy the basic feature of the constitution. I'm giving the one example. You see, actually, in its national convention in Patna, the BJP president said that the regional party will get destroyed very soon.
So you're saying the constitutional threat, looms large over all political parties, and that's going to unite them. Let me take that question across to DMK also before I come across to you, Shehzad. I want Saravanan to come in on this, because Saravanan, you have the JDU spokesperson saying that the constitutional threat looms large, and what's happened with the DMK at some level is representing that, if I've got him correctly, with Mr. Stalin saying that you're going to fight this case out legally. Will this kind of glue be enough to paper over the cracks that are quite evident even on this panel? Yes, sir.
See, there are no cracks within the opposition.
Just saw them, sir. Up and Congress you have seen. EMC Congress is well known. We just discussed them.
See, the problem is this. The problem of our country is the BJP. So why have the opposition parties have come together? They have come together to ensure that the BJP does not come back to power in 2024. That is what our leader, Mr. MK Stalin, said. The question is, who should not be the next prime minister? Who should be the next prime minister? The question should be, who should not be the next prime minister? That is very clear. On that ideology, everybody are coming together. This is the first time 15 parties, more than 15 parties have come together on a common ideology. And there is a common ideology, and there is the opposition. See, all these regional parties and all the national parties, they have been affected by the unconstitutional acts of the BJP. The BJP is destroying the institutions. So this destruction of the democratic institutions is affecting all the parties, is also ensuring that the life of the common man, the life of the common man is not improving at all. It is only the cronies of the BJP through corporate tax cut. And
so you're saying the same point. You're saying pretty much the same point, that the constitutional institutions.
Let me finish this.
Yeah,
one more point.
Complete. I'm coming. Quickly. 30 seconds. Finish your point.
The situation in Manipur. Since independence, how many states have faced this? This is the only time after the independent India, a state is facing such a dire situation.
Okay. Yeah, respond to that now. Shehzad, we are almost out of time. Shehzad, quick response. Constitutional institutions are being destroyed across the country, say opposition parties, and that's why this DMK episode is very important. We will band together.
Madhav, I have no problem doing a 1 versus 6 debate as long as you give me enough time and equal time. And now let me come to the point. It's not a constitutional crisis, it's an existential crisis for those who practice the politics of Parivarvad and Bhrashtachar. I just have one question. It's a constitutional issue that they are on together, right? Please ask Congress their stand on the ordinance of AAP. Please ask the DMK and please ask the RJD.
I've already done that.
The RJD has come out categorically and said AAP stand is wrong. They should not be bullying us. The JDU has made a similar statement to that effect. Please tell them to take a stand for the Aam Aadmi Party. That is a constitutional issue. So they can't see eye to eye. In fact, Madhav, I am so happy tonight that only thanks to Narendra Modi, whom they want to remove, all these people who abuse each other day and night are today sitting together against me in the panel. That's only issue is negative issue कि Modi हटाओ. We are saying भ्रष्टाचार हटाओ, ये बोलते हैं मोदी हटाओ. हम बोलते हैं गरीबी हटाओ, ये बोलते हैं मोदी हटाओ. हम बोलते हैं इस देश से परिवारवाद हटाओ, ये बोलते हैं मोदी हटाओ. So this is a contest between Modi and परिवारवाद, Modi and भ्रष्टाचार, and all of them represent that.
Okay, Suman Siravan, quick closing remarks. Almost out of time. Suman Siravan.
Yeah, Madhav, I think the Patna meet has certainly got the BJP a little rattled. I think for the first time they sense that there may actually be a direct contest in around 400 seats, which means that could significantly dent their chances of getting a majority. And that is why you're seeing this kind of a reaction on multiple fronts. But I think very importantly, a common minimum program, which is what these opposition parties are speaking of, is essential, and hopefully they will come up with a common minimum program in the next couple of meetings.
10 seconds.
Then the game really will start.
Madhav, there are 274 seats as on date where BJP has 48 to 50% vote share in the Lok Sabha 2019.
Okay.
Even if they get together, can they cross that vote share of ours, which is
will that happen?
Plus?
Will that happen? That's
but their unity is it happening?
They claim
ifs and buts of pots and pans.
They claim that on paper they have a higher vote share. That's their claim. They're entitled to their claim. But we'll have to leave it there. And we have, of course, seen the reason why this debate is so important for 2024 is that the claim of opposition coming together, the index of opposition unity, will they actually stick? Will episodes such as this make a difference on ground or not? Will the domestic rivalries within the states that political parties have, the regional rivalries, will they play a bigger role than the national interest? That's always going to be at play until 2024. And that's why this debate is a very interesting one, and perhaps it's not over till it's over. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening.